Okay, let's have done a video. So I'm just gonna try and draw that. That's coming clearer off to you than in my viewpoint. I probably should shrink that down a bit more. And since I'm doing Star Wars, I guess I'd talk about it a bit. Like, for the fact that... Okay, that's better. That when Disney got it, they really did not know how to make a sequel at all. They were never good at sequels to begin with, but, you know. And using this camera is a lot harder on my phone than I was thinking, and I made the head too small. Oh well, I'll just do my best to make it work. Right now I am mapping out just everything where it is at. Yeah, the majority of the shoulder blades are a bit more down here. These other shoulder, it's a bit smaller down here. Oops, holding my phone is annoying. Anyways, there's not much you can say that's already said, and there is still a video from, let me scroll down real quick. This guy. There we go. Seriously, he's a writer, but everything is a very good point. All in all, I need to go back to, which is, but I feel like newcomers don't understand one aspect, and that fans like misjudged the entire and like how easy it actually was to set up the next film by writer number one, and that when everyone had a cool head, given that you have to take Star Wars seriously, it isn't just a kids movie. It really isn't. There's like literal politics and murder. Like, it is not, and it's already been established. You take it seriously. Like, each person has these actions, and each action actually has consequences. They don't think about it. But you know, it is what it is. I'm just doing it by doing this, and I'll finish it off because this is a lot harder than it looks because I do not have any setup. And I thought this would be fun just to say. And also, I'm not bullshitting. Literally, like, the one thing that George Lucas left off when it came to what the sequels could do, since it was a traditional 3 thing, is quite literally alone could have just done making the bad guys and the good guys an even footing. Again, like, there's a, because you know what that Disney doesn't like doing? Using their fucking heads. They think, okay, so we bought this thing, which is why, like, the only thing I think that's still, like, good and they maybe, most people think they, right, is literally the experience of this. And this, but that's only because, you know, you're giving them a lightsaber which they don't even know how to work. Their crease sucks. Like, it really sucks. In the first, like, well, you gotta show that they can do it Well, fine, but they didn't even do an okay one. They did an awful one. Because, once you take away everything they did the same, it doesn't work. The only thing is probably the cliffhangers they were working with, and they switched directors, which screwed up even more of the film. Like, any chance you had to maybe didn't work, but both from start to finish. Because in the end result, you already put an empire out of nowhere when, it wasn't specifically stated, but like, it was pretty apparent that politicians and stuff were aiming to fight back for democracy to return after Palpatine did everything in his power to get rid of it the first time. So we already have a powerful force, the new coat of paint that's just out of nowhere, no explanation apparently needed. So that's great. Okay, I think I got an angle that works for me to actually see it now, so I'm gonna keep going. But there's also the fact that all in all, there's no real evolution in anything. In fact, there's a de-evolution in the last film where they have traction. Why do they need traction? They literally have gear that allows them to float and go, because there's no need to factor in traction. All in all, that was stupid. Like, what the? Why are you trying to devolve? Oh, right, because Disney decided to change directors out of nowhere. Even though your fans might have been complaining, but like, when does Disney care about their fans again? And the reason why is because it's technically over, and Disney's now run into a wall where eventually they're gonna run of being in the past. Once it's like a fine line of, okay, we've ridden ourselves into this wall of we're screwed, no one likes this area, so let's just bounce back to the past. But eventually they're gonna do so many plot points that lead back up to the wall to where they're like, well, the wall was actually a rip. SW for Star Wars, or STW, whatever you want. All around, it doesn't work. They've ridden themselves into a wall, of which we'll eventually run games, and then you'll realize, oh shit, we've up. All this tradition and stuff, literally only Legends work. Like, they had like one of the most powerful beings by using the ones. George Lucas in Legends made a cool character I would have loved to see more about, like, to see if there was a finished story. Like, it never got finished when Luke went on a journey and was in his new Star Wars world was trying to find the Blade of Maw. That was the only thing that could get the Immortal Ones. Well, Immortal-esque, I think. Because they all died, and the father admitted that he was dying, but the Immortal in Star Wars is a stretch, because in a way, they don't really die at the time. It is mainly just returning to the Force. Which I think the father was just saying it was just his time to like actually assimilate with the Force when he made Anakin. So but to everyone else, he dies. So Son has abandonment issues, but does it work when you have that context? When you rewatch the ones, is that the son is an extremely tragic character. He isn't just mean out of nowhere. He has a point. He has a purpose of why he's so angry. Why hearing that his father is dying is caused him to relive the trauma of losing someone he cared about, his mother, that caused him to go into conflict with his sister again. It's like all this point that's been dragged up. It works. It functions. The story fits. It's a circle going into a circle in a child's game. Or, well, we'll talk. But, Disney was trying to put a thing that's a circle. And then, there we go. Tried putting a square constantly in it. Just a constant square that doesn't work. These visuals are too spot on. Anyways, to the point. I'm gonna lighten this out a little bit, but my hands are getting tired of holding the phone, so to where Disney sucked, and that people need to, because people like Dark Revan, they're pretty much almost gone. People so when they bought it, they had to be fucking careful with what they had, but they were Disney, so they were like, nah, we have a way of making a quick buck, so forget about going all careful like with it. Instead, let's just finish Star Wars Tomb. So, unless they were like, realize that if they wanted money, they need to ask if, fans would need to ask if George Lucas, if people admitted that it wasn't just because the sequels sucked that they wanted him back, but the fact that they were actually pretty decent and good once you really think about it, because in the end result, it's they were pretty good. Like they served what they were needing to. They were adding context. The pre-sequels made everything fit and like had more context, like Yoda and how he could have gone and the planet and put himself in. He didn't give up. He was just buying his. He failed his students. He let young ones get murdered because of something he couldn't control. He couldn't stop. He failed. He needed to re-educate himself, retrain, so he could be a teacher for the next generation that would one day help his father fulfill the destiny of returning balance. And don't forget, the legend stated that they were returning balance to the Force. Anakin Skywalker fulfilled both the Sith and the Jedi's prophecy by one destroying the Jedi. But it never stated the Jedi couldn't be reborn like the Sith, because the Sith constantly were reborn. So after the balance was restored on a scale, I'm done with the mini drawings anyways, but the scale was returned to balance. It's back to zero. Luke could do whatever he wants. Like, he's good. Like, everything and are completely balanced on the scale. But in all, so Lee was open to infinite, but Disney, they ruined it because, you know what, they didn't get directors who didn't just understand Star Wars, but also understood the fundamentals of taking what you had and making sure the storyline did not go and then all the way back here. Okay, that's a good place to end it. So why old Star Wars was going in a straight line to continue the story and leaving out and making sure that the world was understood that there's huge chunks under what we were seeing, you decide to start all the way back over. I know I said no more, but But either way, I want to show my own. I've done my verbal complaints. I wanted to do this once, and yeah, who knows, maybe if people somehow ask me to do more, I'll continue, and hopefully, as I try getting better at my art, it'll get more entertaining. I don't know. Anyways, see ya.